Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Rose Wrights if you don't know who I am or if you're new. I do make episode tutorial type of content. I have been dipping my feet into some anti MLM content. If you're interested, I will leave that in the description down below. In this video today, I will be showing you guys how to make it look like your character is driving. And I will also show you how to put your character into a bed or make it seem that way. I hope you find this video helpful. Make sure to subscribe and like this video. So first things first, you do have to find something like this, which is a city highway loop. Episode have this background already. This is what I used. They also have a different type of other stuff that you can use, like the desert highway and things. I'm just sticking with the city highway just for fun. So the next thing we're going to have to do is bring our characters in, and then we're going to have to use an overlay. So the first thing that I want to do is bring my characters and my overlay in. Okay, so I brought my overlay and my character in. I know it looks crazy. You're like, what is going on here? We're going to get everything sorted with some spot directing. So let's get this started. So the first thing that I want to do is click my helpers and click spot directing. I am going to change my overlay first. I'm going to make sure I scale that. Just make it bigger or smaller, whichever makes sense for you. If you're having them if you want to maybe do like you want to zoom into the car and whatever, you can do that also. I think this is perfect for me for right now. So I think this is perfect placement. I'm probably going to zoom out just a tad. I think that looks pretty good actually. So then I'm going to copy the code that they put down here, and I'm going to put this here. Okay? Just paste it. Next, I want to change my character with some spot directing as well. So I'm going to click change character. I'm going to make sure to scale her. I'm going to make her a little bit smaller so she can fit in this car. Okay? Now they have, since they don't have an actual driving animation, you're going to have to do your best to kind of make it look like she's driving. Whatever animation makes sense for you. I think this makes sense. This looks pretty good to me, but whatever you want to use, whatever animation makes it more realistic for you. Just for the sake of this video, I'm using the lean forward concerned loop. So that's where I want her, and then I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so I'm going to put this, and I'm going to put and Rose is, and I'm going to type in this here, this animation, and I'm going to delete this here because I no longer need it, and just so everything looks okay. So like I said, the important part of this is to make sure you have a looping background, okay? If you want to look like she's driving on a highway or something like that, that's what you're going to have to do. And as I saved it, that's what it looks like. So she looks like she's driving, on a looping background. Now, what do you do if you have a standstill background? What if you wanted to make it look like she pulled off a lot or something? I can show you how to do that as well. So we're going to use pretty much the same formula, and I'm going to do it in a standstill background, and I'm going to have the car and her move at the same time. I'm going to show you how I do it in just a second here. Okay, so now that I have a standstill background and things, now I'm going to move the car and my character at the same time to make it look like she pulled off with her car, okay? So this is going to be a little complex, but just stay with me here. So how we do that is a couple things here. So we're going to do, again, spot directing. Now I want to make sure it's hovered over my character. Perfect. So what I'm going to do is just slowly move my character out of the frame. Okay? I'm going to move her out of the frame, or the camera, per se. And I'm going to, let me move it back just a little bit. Okay, cool. I'm going to copy that code. Okay? So actually, I want this to be a further up, and I'm going to have this further down. Okay? So I'm going to paste that new code right here. This is her off the screen. And just like we did with her, we're going to move the car as well. And I'm going to click on Change Overlay. Okay? So after we change the overlay, I'm going to move the car slowly. You want to try to keep it the same, at the same, same level. You don't want to go up and down and move it all about, because it's gonna, you can clearly see that, and it's gonna make it look weird. Try to keep it pretty much the same, just the same. Okay, you can see that this doesn't really have any tail lights, but just for the sake of this video, we're gonna just go with it, okay? But you can definitely find your own car off of episode forums. There are people who give overlays and backgrounds for free, just for credits in your story, or you can actually have someone purchase it, or you can make it yourself, or you can do commission off of someone else. But I just used the one that episode provided. So again, with that new code for the overlay, I'm going to paste it into my script. Okay, so now what do we do with these two things here? So first, right here, I'm just going to pause for, let's do 2. Okay, so with this new script, I'm going to put @Rose walks 2. Now, although she won't be doing any walking, this tells episode that I want her to move. Okay, so I'm going to put @Rose walks to this new spot in 5 seconds, or actually let's do 4 seconds. And Rose is, and then we're going to repaste that. Otherwise, if we don't put that there, episode is going to actually have her, hold on, episode is actually going to have her walk off the screen if we don't put that there. Lean forward, concerned, move. Okay, so again, that's why we put that. If we don't put the animation with this, they're going to actually have her get up and walk off the screen, because obviously I put walks, but even though I put walks too, she's not actually going to be walking. She's just going to be sitting, but I'm just telling episode to move her off the screen, okay? But with this one, we don't really have to do that with an overlay, because they're just going to move the overlay, and I'm going to do this in about, let's do 10 seconds. Now, you're going to see why, because my character is closer to the end of the screen as the car, I'm going to have my character, the way I'm going to have it is where my character is going to go off screen first, and the car is going to go with her. But since the car is longer, it's going to take more time, and since my character is closer to the end, it's going to take shorter time. I'm going to show you what I mean really quick. However, I do want them to move at the same time. I want the car and my character to move at the same time. How do I do that? I'm going to use this symbol here. The and symbol, ampersand, I know it's called ampersand or just and. Use the and symbol here, okay? This lets episode know that you want this happening at the exact same time. That is what it tells episode. What I'm telling episode with this and symbol, or however you want to say it, is that I want my character to move off to this new spot in 4 seconds, and I want this the car to move off as well. I want these two things to be happening at the exact same time. If I just left it at what is telling episode is I want Rose to go off the screen first, and then I want the brown car to follow behind. And obviously we don't want that to happen. We want them to both get off screen at the exact same time. And I'm going to show you how that looks in just a second. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I had it pause for a beat there, and you see how they're both going off at the same time. I know the car don't have a bumper. It's not my fault. That's episodes. They don't have the lights or anything. But, you know, so you don't have to show the whole car if you don't want to. Just for tutorial purposes, I did decide to just show the whole car. But that's what that means. That's what that code means. It means that I want these two things happening at the exact same time. So make sure, okay, when you want your character to move to a different spot, if I just put spot like I did here, that means you just want her to appear into a different spot. You must put walks to, even though she's not walking, you want to put walks to let episode know that you want her to go from one spot to another. And then you want to put the duration. I put in 5 seconds. I did have it at 4 seconds. I changed it to 5 because it just made it look a lot smoother. It looks like they're going together. And like I said, you just have to play around with the timing. Like I said, I had it at 4, but I realized it looked better when she was moving at 5 seconds and the car was moving at 10. Just play around with it. See what looks good to you. And as I did that, I put and rows is, like I said, ideal, set, lean forward, concern, loop. Now, if I didn't put this here, they would literally have her get up and walk off the screen. Now, I don't want her to walk off the screen literally. She's supposed to be driving. You're not supposed to be walking off the screen. So that's why I put this here. You must put that there, especially if you want them to be looking like they're driving. I hope that makes sense, okay? So that's the important thing with this and symbol. It makes them both go at the exact same time. And you can use this with more than just drive. You can do it when you want background characters to talk and all these other things. It's good for that. Or if you want when you want multiple things to happen at the same time, that's when you use that and symbol or ampersand or whatever you want to call it, okay? So that's how you get your character to look like you're driving in the loop and in a standstill background, okay? I know it sounds confusing, and if you don't know how to spot direct, I do have a video on spot directing. I will leave the link in my description box so you can get a more in-depth video on spot directing. I just don't want the video to be about that because I do have a whole video on spot directing, overlays, and everything. You check out that video. Next, we're going to get into how to make your character look like they're getting into bed or actually get into bed. Okay, now we're in a bedroom. Now, this is Angie Bed Red from Episode Backgrounds. All the backgrounds that I'm pretty much using is from Episode. So if you're interested in these backgrounds, you can go ahead and check those out. Now, something I do want to preface before I start this, sometimes when you're using Zooms and you're starting new chapters or you're into a new scene, sometimes it will stay at that Zoom. Just do a Zoom reset in case if you're having any issues. Like, if you're going to a new scene and you're like in the scene before, you know, you had it zoomed in to look at the car and now you're back at a regular scene and it's still zoomed in. Do a Zoom reset to start it all over. Just so you guys can keep that in the back of your mind. So now that I have her in this bedroom, I am going to do some spot directing. Again, so I'm going to just move her just a tad. I want her off to the side, and then I'm going to make her just a tad bit smaller, okay? Just a tad bit, and I want her to stand, let's put her right there, okay? That's where I want Rose, and I'm just going to copy and paste this into my script, okay? And I don't need this anymore. Uh-oh. Spelling error. Okay, so next what we're going to do is a couple things. So the first thing we want to do is to make her look like she's getting into bed. Now, you can use, there's so many options to do this. There's no actual getting into bed animation, so you have to use your imagination with this one. Your readers have to use their imagination with this one. So something that I like to use, you can use like a kneel that I like to do. It's reach kneel, kind of like that. It makes it look like they're kind of getting into bed. And you can do reach kneel rear just to make it look like they can get into bed. Now there are some tinkering loops that you can use. I mean, I won't use that one, but just so you know, play around with the animations to see what looks good for you, okay? What looks good for you. Like I said, the tinkering thing is a good one. This kneel one is pretty much what I use. Use what makes sense for you, okay? So for this one, I am going to use the kneel rear. So I'm going to put, actually I'm going to have it pause for a beat first. Pause for a beat. And I'm going to have at rows is kneel rear and rows faces left. Now, you have to understand with rear, it's opposite, right? So when you're doing rear, it's kind of like the mirror. So when you want someone to face right, you put left. You want someone to face left, you put right. Just a rule of thumb when it comes to rear. If you're wondering, oh my God, like I'm using rear and this person's not facing the way I want to, remember, think of it like a mirror. Do the opposite. If you want them to face left, put right, etc. Okay? So I'm going to have her bend down, and then I'm going to have her lay. So I'm going to put, I'm actually going to, feet, is sleep, awake, let's do an uncomfortable loop. Okay? All right, so I'm going to show you what that looked like. So, like I said, she bent down, pause for a beat, and now it looks like she disappeared, right? Where did she go? So I'm going to show you. So the first thing I'm going to put is show helpers, and we're going to do some more spot directing. Yay! I know, it's not my favorite thing in the world either. So, like I said, and something that, like I said, and I wanted to show you guys, especially something with sleep. You see how she's like that? We definitely don't want that. Okay? We don't want that. So the reason why she's backwards, so I have to let episode know, and I'll put and rows faces. So you got to make sure you put that, otherwise that's the default. Okay, so all I did here was just put and rows faces right, because a lot of the times episode default is left. I make sure I put right. So now that I put she's laying, uncomfortable loop, and rows faces right, now she's here, now she's asleep. So now I want to just place her wherever makes sense for me. So I'm just going to do this and lay her like right here. You can have her lying awake if you want. If you want her to have like a little thought bubble thing going on, you can do that. I'm gonna just have her like as soon as she got into bed, she fell asleep. You know, maybe she took some Benadryl. I don't know. So I'm going to copy this here, and I'm going to put this in my script. So I'm going to put, as she falls for a beat, she's going to spot this spot, and what I'm going to do is copy this here, and we're going to put this here, okay? I mean, you can type it out again if you want, but I'm not doing that. So then in zone 2, and I got to remember put and rows, okay, is, there we go. All right, let's check this out. So, like I said, it's just mostly doing spot directing and playing around with spot directing, okay? So, as you can see, now she's into the bed real quick. She kind of popped in there. Like I said, I wish episode had like a getting in bed animation, but they don't, unfortunately. So, we kind of have to use our imaginations with this. And like I said, you can play around with, if you want to do the reach, kneel, neutral rear, you can. If you don't, find something that makes sense for you or what looks good for you. I thought this looked good, so I used it. So that's how you do it. Like I said, it takes a little playing around with spot directing and things, but it really is quite that simple. I hope this tutorial helped in any way. Please let me know if you have any questions down below. Make sure to like this video and subscribe. I am here for all your episode needs. Please let me know how I can help. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.